So today I spent the day clay barring my car and doing ceramic coating on it, and I think it came out pretty decent. Now I'm in the process of doing my tail lights. This is what the before looks like. You can see on this side on the left that there is just a reflector at the bottom, and I went and opted to give it an upgraded look so it looks a little neater. I went with the Audi style turn signal on the back so that there's actually more visibility from behind. Let me know what you think. So here are some things that I just wanted to share, because this is a 2021 Model Y, and a lot of the videos that you see online don't really show you like how to get access back here. I mean, they just kind of show it as already pulled apart and you're trying to fumble your way through it. So I just want to like give you a couple key tips, and hopefully this makes sense, those that have 2021s. This piece right here needs to come off first before you can do anything to get access to that back area. And in addition to that, you also need to pull these out so that you can slide that out. It's just like, you know, jigsaw puzzle. It's not difficult, but you just have to pay attention to what you're doing so that you don't lose any parts or misplace anything. My biggest concern was just making sure that I didn't damage anything in the process, because you don't want to have a crack in your panels in the back of the vehicle. All right, I'll continue here in just a second. I got to pull this out and separate this to pull it forward in order to get access back here behind the actual tail light. So I'll get back with you in a second as soon as I get that off. So a couple key items to note. When you pull the left panel off on a 2021, you'll see that there is a cigarette lighter or a charger for a vacuum cleaner back here, or a tire pressure machine, so that you can pump up your tires in the event that it goes flat. And there's also another wire here at the top. I did not disconnect that one because I didn't feel like it needed to, because there was enough wire to give me space. And then this is the wire that came out of here. The only thing that you have to do on this is just pinch down on it and it pulls right out. So simple enough. And then here behind the panel, you have your two 8mm bolts that have to be removed, and there is the connection for the tail light. In addition to that, there's a stopper on top of this. This just slides off. It's not a twist or anything like that. You just lift it up and it comes right off. The one piece of advice I will give you about those two 8mm bolts or nuts is be very careful not to drop them. They can get lost down here, and then you don't have anything to fasten that back. So I just loosen them so that I could take them off by hand. But that's just a tip, so that you don't end up losing parts. Okay, so at this point, what I've done is I've taken the template and I've put it over the top of the actual reflector, and this is the point where I'm going to drill. You can see the little mark right here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in on an angle to pop the tab to ensure that it breaks free from the inside. I can't drill and show you at the same time. Unfortunately, I don't have a tripod to do this, or someone standing over my shoulder watching me do it. But I'm trying to make sure that anybody that has a 2021 gets this information, because I know when I look at a lot of the videos, they're mostly focused on 2020s, and you're not able to deduce what actually is happening there. So bear with me, but I'm going to drill this, and I'll show you on the other side. Okay, so here's the end of the drilling. It just popped out, and you do get the broken reflector. It's not like you're going to keep it anyway, so you know, at this point the only thing you're going to do is slide it off. There's a clip behind that affixes to the inside of this hole, and then this is the piece that expands inside of this hole. This is where we're going to run the wires up through here, and then we're going to fish the line up through here. We need to take that 10mm bolt off and then pull the fender out so that we can fish that line up and then into where the tail light goes. So if you can bear with me for a second, we'll pick up on the other side of this. So with this bolt out now, I'm going to show you, this is pretty simple. This just pops out. Right? All you do is lift this up and over, and it should allow you access down inside of the fender. That's where we're going, right down inside of there. I know it looks kind of like you can't get your hand down in there, but that's what the fish tape is for. So it kind of saves you from having to cut up your arm and get all inside of there and get crazy. All right, so what we're gonna do is fish this line. Well, the one thing I forgot to mention was this was extremely helpful. This center hole is where your wires are gonna go. So what I did on the last one, I just opened it up a little bit. So that it made it easy to get the line through here once I was running the on the other one I was a little more cautious. I actually had fraud paper on the outside of it. So I guess I'm getting a little brave now because I've done it once. So all right, so just open up that hole to give us some space to get in there, and just clean my car. I don't want to leave dirt behind there. And what we're going to do is, like I said, fish this line up inside of here, and we're going to look for it down inside of here. So I'm going to try and rest my phone here so you can see this line coming up. Grab this. This is out. We have that end where the wire is going to be, and then this end where we're going to fish through the back side here. Okay. So what we need to do is get the loop. And I find it easier to take this off and, you know, try to do this after versus trying to fish it through and then find the line on the inside, because it's too hard. Sorry, my video is too close, I know. I got one pair of hands, so I'm working with what I got. At this point, what you're going to do is you're going to pull this tight as best you can so that you have this, right? And then you're going to get the connection, the wire. And I'm going to pause here to hook this up. Okay, so now we've got the line hooked up and the wires, and all we're going to do is fish this back down so that we can connect the cable. You want to be gentle when doing this, because if you break it, that's all you got. So, and you got to order a whole new set of lights, and nobody wants to do that because it's expensive, right? It's an expensive hobby to have a car. So you want to be gentle when you pull this. Take your time because it's not a race. It's more of a marathon, right? Okay, so here's the end of the fish tape, and there's the wire. Okay, so we're going to pull slowly because we don't want to break anything and get this to come out. We're going to push that in, try and get as much of it through as possible. Here's the end of it, and there's the other wire. So I hope I open this up big enough to get it through. There we go. You just have to pull them through one at a time. I was able to actually get the hole opened up big enough on the other side that I did both at the same time. All right, so now we got the wire. Now at this point, what we're gonna do is we're going to take the connector, blue and yellow to blue and yellow, and red and black to red and black. At this point for the test, all I did was feed the line through where we fished it down. I put it at a 90-degree angle at the very bottom. Here's the cable that's coming through. It's got two connectors, pretty simple. You got a female and a male, right? So you take the male to female, and you see where you got the little T there, right? All you got to do is slide that in. I don't have enough hands. Great. That in and lock that back down. Okay, and then this and plugs back into your tail light. But we don't need that at this point right now. We have power. So what I want to do is be able to test to ensure that we have power on this side and it is working, so that we can check the tail light before we go any further. So left turn signal. Let's see, what did I do wrong? Oh, I didn't turn it on. It's kind of scary. All right, so we got a working tail light, or a working turn signal. So, and then once we put the actual tail light back in, those two will mirror each other and you will get the same turning signal. This was one of the tips that I thought was invaluable when I watched one of the videos online, is to tape up the switches. And the reason for that is we may not think about it as we're doing this, but water gets down inside behind the bumper and when it rains. And I live here in Florida, so, and as most of you know, there's a hurricane or a tropical storm, depression, whatever it is right now, Elsa, that is not too far off. And I would hate to be driving and, you know, you go to turn and all you now have is an expensive reflector on the back of your car because you didn't bother to take the time to tape up the two connectors that were inside of here. But what I think I'm going to do with this side, because the other one, actually this sleeve came all the way down close to this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some black electrical tape that I have right here, just regular standard black electrical tape, and I'm going to wrap these wires all the way down and keep them as dry as I possibly can in the event that water gets down there behind the bumper and you know, at the wires. Okay, so now all that's left to do, because the wire is now covered with electrical tape, is to feed the line back in. And we're going to pull it back up here from the top so that we can pull this back inside. Keep as much of this on the inside up top as possible. Should be able to feed that through. There's one, and there's two. Awesome. I gotta take this. I'm gonna take this plastic off. I need 1 or 2 hands here. Need an assistant. So again, there's 2 clips, and then there's 1 feed that just goes through here. I will put this on, and then I'll be right back. Make sure when you put your tail light back on, this rubber grommet here, or washer, whatever you want to call it, is still there, and you haven't lost it. And these 2 washers here. This helps to keep water out of the tail light assembly, right? These are just 2 pins that line up on the back outside here. 1 there, 1 there, and then the 2 holes that we have for the 8mm to go in. So this here is just going to line up right on top of this, and it's not going to damage it or do anything to it, so you should be fine. Okay, tail light assembly is back, and we have the turn signal indicators both in, and the wires are connected. So the only thing we have left to do is to put these panels back, get the trunk reorganized, and put the car back together. So I will be back in just a second. What's really nice is that once you line these pieces back up, they all fall right into place. You know, maybe just a little bit of separation. You may have missed a spot here or there, but it can be easily fixed with a little tap. Okay, let me turn down the music. So you can see right here, didn't line up correctly, right there. So if you get a little tap, it goes right back in place, and you don't have a gap there anymore. Nice clean line. When you pop this back in place, and it just drops right in, and it clicks in, be forewarned that this seal will be underneath of it, because you can't hold it all the way up, you know, as you put it back in. So it's just a reminder to lift this up so that it comes over, so it stops the water from getting inside the trunk of your vehicle. I know it's minor and it seems silly, but you know, if it's overlooked, then you wonder why you got water in the back of your car. And you know, although some of us might think of it, some of us might not. And I just wanted to mention it because it's better to be safe than sorry, and provide the information to everybody so that we're all on the same page, as we all spent a lot of money for our cars. So back to how it was. And I just got to put the panels back in, and we are in shape. And there we have it, all back together. Probably one of the best investments I ever made for my car was buying these mats. They're made by, I want to say 3D Spider. 3D Spider. And no, I haven't cleaned the inside of my car yet, before you comment and say that the inside's dirty. But these mats are absolute lifesavers. They catch all the water, and you know, yesterday it was raining pretty good here in Florida, and it was just absolutely horrific. So that's why there's water spots on the floor. My wife's girlfriend came to town, and she hadn't seen her in a few years, so we were out, and I went to go pick them up in the rain. Let's see here, get the other side up. So tomorrow's task is to get the inside of the car clean. to where we're at. Beautiful. So here's one last function check. You got the hazards on. We got the left blade working. And then on the other side, you got the right blade working. And in the rear, this is what we see. That looks pretty sweet. Appreciate any feedback, comments, questions. If I can help somewhere, someone is doing this installation, please feel free to reach out and ask. I'll do what I can to help you. Hope you enjoyed the video.